state has prosecutors or prosecutorial authority. I'm pretty sure about that. I mean, I worked at the AG's office for a couple years, and there was always cases from different agencies that are, obviously that run through the prosecution function of the Attorney General's office. So yeah, I don't think he does off the top of my head. I don't believe he does.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he's done a great job as far as getting out the effort to vote, putting together what he's done on the Secretary of State website with My Voting Day and giving everybody, the sample ballot, getting all of that under control. I think he has done a pretty good job of. But Sean, you texted me this morning and sent me a Megyn Kelly video, which, see, I told y'all Sean is a closet conservative. He watches Megyn Kelly on the regular, and he was.
Nope.
Well,
Nope.
you were certainly watching her this morning.
Yeah, because they were attacking Trump. So of course I did. That's why I did.
Well, I mean, I haven't gotten through the whole thing. I got through probably the first half of it, but from what I heard her say, it doesn't necessarily seem like she was attacking Trump. She just has questions. And
No, it was a straight up attack. If you watched it, it was
so
about as harsh as you could get, I think.
well, she must have gotten harsher as it goes on, because the part that I saw, she just was
Now
saying,
Megyn was lighter than Marjorie was, obviously. Yeah.
now Marjorie
Marjorie let it loose, man. Marjorie was not messing
angry.
around. Yeah, she was. I mean, what did she say? That she's like, I think she said the president said that he wasn't going to heaven, and I take him for his word. You heard that part, right?
And she dropped a few F-bombs in there.
There was a bunch of F-bombs on, and what this is, just to make everybody understand, this is regarding the attack on Iran, and there was a split in MAGA between those that are, in favor of the attack on Iran and those that were obviously the ones that voted for President Trump, that are against any new wars, especially particularly wars in the Middle East. And this has caused quite a stir. You've got now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Megyn Kelly has now joined that crew of anti-war, against this Iran stuff. Matt Walsh, which I was surprised to see his statements. He was definitely pretty hardcore against it. And Tucker Carlson, of course, which I think we all expected that.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. I think a lot of these people believe that we're bending the knee to Israel and just kind of letting them jerk us around.
Well, I think there's, I think, of course, initially there was people that were saying, yes, we're bending the knee to Israel, and what the truth to that is. At the beginning of this, we didn't know, but Marco Rubio kind of outlined it yesterday, is what's been released, and that's been reported widely since last night. I mean, he said it on video. So I mean, he said that, like, whatever, I'm going to paraphrase, but it was that Israel, they knew that Israel, the United States, knew that Israel was going to attack Iran without us, just they were going to go attack Iran, and that if they did, it was going to cause, other problems. I have to look at his specific wording. So we had no choice but to join them. Essentially, that's what he said. So it does appear that, yes, this was driven by Israel's ambitions. Rubio is saying that that's what happened.
Isn't that kind of what the same thing that happened a few months ago?
Back in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they were the impetus for this, about the attacks in June on Fordo, the nuclear facility. I think Israel was planning on going before we did. I'd have to check my recent history for that, but I believe that's correct. And here, nobody really knew exactly. It was, I think, President Trump made it, seem like and I think the negotiations weren't going as well as he hoped. But it seems like the reason that we attacked so swiftly was because Israel was going to do it, according to Marco Rubio, who I take him for his word at it. I mean, I think he would know. If anybody would know, I think he would know.
And what did he say? He said he personally called.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull the actual statement here. Hold on.
What does he call them? The 8?
The what now?
He calls them the 8. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you're talking about something different. That's called the Gang of 8.
Yeah.
And that is a group in the I believe in the House and the Senate that they inform. That's a bipartisan group. They inform about national security matters. So that's a different.
Initially, there were a lot of complaints saying that people in Congress were complaining, saying they had no idea this was about to happen. And then,
right.
Marco Rubio came out and made the statement saying that he personally called
the Gang of 8.
Yeah,
that's a known group. It's the specific, I believe, specific senators and representatives that are in I think there's 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats. I think that's right, that are informed before anybody else is about national security matters, because they don't want to tell all of Congress, because then somebody's going to tweet it, right? I get that.
Or
I
yeah.
mean, so there's like what's called the Gang of Eight, and so if he's saying, I'll tell you one thing about Mark. I mean, obviously I'm biased against because I like Marco. He's from my hometown, Miami. He's a huge Dolphins fan. He's married to a Miami Dolphins cheerleader, by the way, and he's not a stupid guy. He's not a stupid guy. So I think that if he's saying he did it, I believe him on that. And I think he's saying here why we attacked, and it's because Israel was going to do it, and we just kind of had no choice but to do it. What he's saying.
But a lot of people are upset because they are saying that Trump has not really given a valid reason why this was needed, why we needed to do this.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's been unclear. A lot of it has been very murky. It's been obviously we know that. Look, I don't think anybody's upset that the Ayatollah's gone. I mean, he was a menace to us. I think he was that specific Ayatollah was in power for 36 years. The Iranian Revolution occurred in 1979. I was born in 1979, so it tells you how long ago that was. 47
You're
years.
old.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been dealing, and they have, funded terrorism. They've killed, funded terrorists that killed our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, they deserve what they're getting. I don't think there's any disagreement about that. It was just, I think that the problem is the goals are not clarified. What are we actually trying to do? Is it a regime change? Well, if it is a regime change, then we're going to have to put boots on the ground, because you can't have a regime change without ground troops. It just bombings never work. Now, somebody the other day was trying to give me an example. What about Libya? Well, the thing about that was there was a Libyan rebel army that was able to assist the bombings that we did conduct in that and every overthrow Gaddafi. And now here, the Iranians' problem is it's an unarmed citizenry. So you have a bunch of protesters, and that's great, but none of them have any weapons. So there's not like an organized resistance like the same way there was in Libya. And so in order for that to happen, in order for there to be a regime change, you're going to need U.S. troops on the ground, which I think is going to happen.
Well,
I think that's what we're going to.
this
Go ahead.
morning, there were airstrikes targeting the building of the Iranian council that's responsible for picking the new supreme leader. So I guess that's what they're attempting to do is stop. I mean, of course, I'm sure there's always somebody ready to step up and take the place of
Yeah.
whoever's in
Like,
charge.
who wants the job at this point? Like, yeah, I'll,
Yeah.
I'll pass on that one. No, I mean, yeah, I saw that too. That's what I think a lot of people have to understand too. It's not like we're talking about some rinky-dink regime. They've been in power for nearly half a century. I was reading an article by a foreign affairs expert this past weekend. I know you're gonna make fun of me about that later, but I was. And what he
This is
said
stuff he
was,
does for fun, y'all.
yeah, he was in Tehran a couple years ago, and he said he noticed that people were getting pulled over for seatbelt violations for not wearing their seatbelt, and that the cops were running radar on the roads, pulling people over like they do here for speeding. And the point of that was, this isn't just some propped up crap regime. I mean, they're ticketing you for seatbelt violations. You see what I mean, Lindsay? Like
Yeah.
that infrastructure system is that tight where they're able to have a system where you're getting ticketed for minor infractions. So it's not just some fly by the night Sandinista army or a government or whatever. It's not like that. So it's you get rid of the Ayatollah, there's people ready to replace him. The bureaucracy is completely inundated with the regime. So how does that change? And without an armed resistance, I don't know. I think that's I was talking to Kingfish about it the other night, and he brought up a good point about the Soviet Union, where they flip sides and the army flips sides. You're going to have something like that happen here, where it's just going to get so bad on them that they're just going to have to just flip sides and say, we're against the regime, because otherwise there's not going to be this popular uprising to overthrow the regime. That is not, everybody needs to flush their headgear on that one,
Right,
because
well,
that's
I
not going
mean,
to
we were
happen.
in Afghanistan for how long? And then the second that we removed troops, the Taliban was right there to take over?
Came back in. I mean, yeah, and the thing is, there was somewhat of an organized resistance against the Taliban. It wasn't much of one, but it existed more than what exists in Iran. Same thing, in Iraq, there was pockets of resistance against Saddam Hussein. And once that he fell, there were so many different tribal warfares, which caused the chaos in that country. So, I mean, every country's over there is, I think people lump the Middle East into one pocket, but I mean, you're dealing with Iranians who are Persians. They're not Arabs like in Iraq. Different people completely. And the Iranians are actually a very well educated citizenry. They really are, and they always have been. So you just don't have those. You don't have just rebel armies sitting in the sand or whatever's out in Iran. I've never been there, but I assume there's some sand. So you don't have that same thing like you have had in other Middle Eastern countries to to be able to take down this regime. So I think when the president was saying, people rise up, we're like, rise up with what? I mean, they don't have anything. So we're gonna look. The thing is, like, nobody wants to say ground troops because we've just been through 20 years of that.
Mhm.
But if there's going to be a regime change, there's going to have to be ground troops.
I just keep waiting to hear, but they have weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, it's imminent. Well, that's what the president and them had said. Actually, they said it was imminent. But now I was listening to this stuff this morning. They're saying like really it was the intelligence assessments are like a decade away. So I don't. It doesn't matter. It's called what's the saying? The new boss, same as the old. It's kind of the way it goes.
Well, we got to take a break. Sean, you're going to stay with us through the next segment?
Sure.
All right. Y'all stay with us. We'll be right back here at WIAB 1039, The Lindsay Beckham Show.
Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
CBS News special report. President Trump blasts Iran on the fourth day of U.S.-led air attacks in the country as Tehran launches counterattacks.
They hit countries that had nothing to do with what's going on. They were sort of leaving everything alone. All of a sudden, they had missiles shot in, which shows you the level of evil that we're dealing with.
CBS's Zach Hudak says his comments came during a meeting with the German chancellor.
The president used this as an opportunity to apply pressure on other European countries to be behind the U.S. in this effort to, allow us to use their bases if we want and to not publicly oppose the effort.
This woman in Kentucky, most of her family is still in Iran.
I was watching the news and I saw one of the bombs hit very close to her house. Hopefully she's safe. Hopefully she's fine.
State Department says it's preparing military and charter flights for Americans who want to leave the region. CBS News special report.
Ladies, tired of running on empty, sleepless nights, mood swings, stubborn weight, skin that has lost its glow? It is not just getting older. It is your body begging for help. Hey, y'all, I'm Morgan at Women's Wellness of Mississippi. At Women's Wellness of Mississippi, we bring it all together. Hormone therapy, medical weight loss, and the latest, greatest aesthetic treatments like facials, lasers, Botox, and so much more. This is where wellness and beauty meet so that you can feel amazing inside and out. At Women's Wellness of Mississippi, the best version of you is waiting right around the corner.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
Hi, this is Allen, nurse practitioner at the MEA Medical Clinic in Flora, Mississippi. Located in the Cotton Exchange Plaza, we are here to provide patient-centered care that is thorough, compassionate, and convenient. Whether you need primary care services or same-day medical care when you aren't feeling your best, we're here to support your health.
MEA Medical Clinics.
Grizz Nation, your Memphis Grizzlies are back at FedEx Forum for a 2-game homestand, starting with the Portland Trailblazers on Wednesday, March 4th at 7 p.m. See this Western Conference matchup as the Grizzlies celebrate Ford Scholars Night, presented by Mid-South Ford Dealers. Grab your tickets today at grizzlies.com/tickets or at the FedEx Forum box office in Memphis.
Pops Auto Sales on Highway 49 in Florence is where you come to buy quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, priced to fit your budget. Stop by Pops Auto Sales today, where fair prices and superior service leads to satisfied repeat buyers. Or go to popsautosalesllc.com and browse our inventory and get pre-approved for zero-down financing with approved credit, with service contracts and warranties available. And guys, our truck inventory is one of the largest for any independent dealer, period. Pops Auto Sales, Highway 49 in Florence.
Come together.
Welcome back into the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. We are live here in Flora, Mississippi. You are listening to the Lindsay Beckham Show. I'm, of course, Lindsay Beckham. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. 601-879-0002 is the number if you'd like to call in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to tell me how much you hate me, go right ahead. 601-879-4648 is our text line if you have anything you would like to text in. We are joined by the one and only Mr. Sean Yerkeron. If you're needing a defense attorney, he's your man. Sean?
No, I'm waiting for you to
Okay.
sell it. I mean, if I sell it, it sounds disingenuous, doesn't it? Right? It seems like you got to sell it.
No.
Yeah, you can call me at actually call me. It's easier to remember the website, onetextlaw.com. I do all sorts of criminal defense, DUIs. You're out drinking this weekend, call an Uber. If you don't, and you tell the cop you had 2 beers, which everybody seems to do for some reason, and you get arrested, you can give me a call, 601-862-1320, onetextlaw.com. Or if you're an automobile wreck, we handle those as well. We'd love to talk to you about that.
Sean, it's so funny because while you're over there reading these ancient history books, my idea of entertainment is watching body cams, the cops' body cams. And so there's this one trooper, this sheriff's deputy trooper, whatever he is, in Arizona, and he does all these body cam videos. And he was talking about, I was watching one last night, I think, and he was talking about the 2 drinks, and he was saying the same thing. And he said the reason why these people always say they only had 2 drinks, he said, because they only remember 2 drinks, their first one and their last one. They forget all the ones in between.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody that gets pulled over tells the police officer that they've had 2 drinks. And I mean, the thing is, when they ask you, you're better off just remaining silent, because if they ask you if you had anything to drink and you said 2, well, like, thanks for the probable cause, buddy. I mean,
right.
I mean, you submitted to drinking and you're in the car, which is the whole point of not getting against the law. So anyway, not advice, just a statement. I don't think I'm allowed to give legal advice, but that is something to think about.
Sean, we were talking about the war and how we have gone to war against Iran. I was wondering what your thoughts are as a vet, as a former Marine. Do you feel this is necessary?
I'm conflicted. It's funny. You'll probably find this funny too. There's a lot about Trump's foreign policy that I've really liked, which, I've hated his domestic policy, but I've really liked his foreign policy. I was a real big fan of what we did in Venezuela, for instance. I've been a fan of, how he's dealt with NATO. And I think somebody finally needed to do that, because we spent so much time getting the shaft, for lack of a better word, on that. And finally now NATO's contributing, a larger portion. I wouldn't say their portion, but than they did to their own defense. So I think he's done a lot of good things with foreign policy. my concern with I've said this for a long time, just studying the Middle East the way I have over the years, that a war with Iran was never going to be a joke. I mean, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Now, I know what we're hoping here is like, okay, we got the Ayatollah, which is great. I mean, it's great to kill that guy. I don't think anybody in this country thinks that's a bad, unless you're crazy and you think it's bad. The problem that you're having though is what do you do now? Now, I mean, do we just let the country linger and the regime I guess they're a much weakened regime because they're getting pounded with missiles and whatnot, and their military capability has been significantly degraded. So that's a good thing. But who takes over now? Is the person worse? Does it make them worse? That's a scary thought. Then your other option is you want a regime change. Well, we've seen how that goes, right? If people listen, they're above 40. We all know how that goes, and it turns into decades long quagmire in the Middle East. Is the country ready for that again? Because I mean, if that's what's going to happen, I mean, if that's what everybody wants is a regime change, then that's what's going to have to happen. You're not going to get that by bombing. It's just not going to happen that way. So I'm conflicted. I think,
Do you think this was imminent, like it was coming regardless?
no, absolutely not. I mean, I think the Iranians been messing around, and I think Trump was right to. I mean, he's called them out on it enough. He's been tougher. I'll give him that. He's been tougher on them than I think anybody else has. So I do respect that. I don't think that we had to attack them this past weekend, though. I think I do. I'm going to take Secretary Rubio at his words that Israel. We're trying to keep a muzzle on Israel, and I mean, I think he said it. Like we don't even have to speculate anymore. I mean, it's out there.
It seems
So
like
I think that's a
Israel has
problem.
us on the leash, is what it seems like.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think anybody that denies that is kidding themselves. I mean, I think that's exactly what happened. Now, do I though? I mean, could this end up being good long term? Absolutely, and I hope that it is. But I also I think there's a much higher percentage that we have a long troop commitment in the Middle East that I don't think the American public has the stomach for either after the last 20 years.
Or the
And they
gas
shouldn't.
prices.
I don't have it either. I was in the Marines. I don't have it either. I don't want to see that the next generation younger than us, Lindsay, stuck and spend their youth in the Middle East. I hate to see that, but I think that's the only way that this is going to result in, if that's what you want, if you want a regime change, you just want to bomb them, take out the Ayatollah, and the regime props up another guy, well, then that's one thing too. But if you're hoping for a regime change, I wouldn't put my hopes or rest my hopes on the unarmed populace of Iran.
I almost wonder what these soldiers, these American soldiers who spent so much time in Afghanistan feel about this, because they watched years, I mean, years of their
Yeah.
life they spent there. I mean, my good friend Justin Elrod was there for years off and on. And then to see it all just kind of be for nothing at the end of it, how that must feel. And then to see this kind of maybe happening again, I can't imagine what their thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a vet, I've talked to so many different vets. Obviously, obviously I'm a vet. Everybody has mixed opinions. Everybody who's been in the military generally is very pro-military and wants to see us, kick some butt, for lack of a better term. But cognizant of that, they don't want to see their friends die or younger people die in a needless war like we had in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, you can make the argument initially back in the fall of 2001 that we had to go into Afghanistan, which I think to a certain extent we did. There had to be a response to 9/11, and that's where Al Qaeda was being, harbored by the Taliban. Now, if in November of 2001, we actually had Osama bin Laden. The problem was, through everything I've read, and I'm sure somebody could correct me on this too, is that we just started diverting slowly resources to Iraq, even though we didn't go into Iraq until March of 2003. But we could have got Osama very early, and we missed out there at Tora Bora. So I think that portion had to happen. The 20 years didn't have to happen in Afghanistan. The over 10 years, whatever it was in Iraq, didn't have to happen at all. And that's kind of goes to your thing, Lindsay. I was talking about that you don't trust the government. If you don't want to trust the government, the Iraq war is a case study in that. They sold the entire public, Republicans and Democrats alike, because they all voted for it, on this whole weapons of mass destruction thing, which ended up being a load of
Right.
crap. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of people died for it. A lot died for that. And so you gotta, when you see this kind of thing, if we're going to commit ground troops, how real is the intelligence that the Iranians were that close to a bomb? Well, I think that's something we want to know before we
Right.
send thousands of more
Yeah.
U.S. troops to die. Like, I just think that's something that we have to be confirmed that this is worth it. And it may very well be worth it, because the Iranians, I think, are actually much more of a significant threat than Saddam Hussein was. That's for sure. I don't think there'd be any argument about that. But is it
We
worth
also
it
have
to
to look at what does it mean for us here. I mean, we've already seen gas prices rise 11 cents overnight. And
Yeah.
then I just sent you the latest kind of the breaking news that just came across my phone says that, President Trump has said today that the United States would cut off all trade with Spain after the European country refused to let the U.S. military use its bases for missions linked to strikes on Iran. So what does that mean for us? I mean, is that going to be a big problem?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to suffer economic consequences at home for sure. I mean, one thing is obviously the Strait of Hormuz is where that oil passes through. It's going to cause us. I mean, the 6 to 11 cents is going to seem like the good old days, depending on how long this goes on. So, I mean, gas prices are going to rise significantly. I think they're already started to do that. It's going to go up more and more and more. There's going to be other economic pain that we're going to feel from this whole thing. So, and then also the world community, there's consequences there. And I think anybody that's interested in foreign policy is asking themselves or follows it extensively. Does China attack Taiwan this year? Because they could now. And that's a scary thought because now they have, well, the United States is just attacking people at random. Maybe we're going to attack Taiwan. And what do we do then? Are we in another war with China? It's a scary proposition. A lot of the
I think we would
options
jump
here.
in that.
Well, we have a commitment to protect, Taiwan. So I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what we do. I don't know what this administration would do in regards to that. I mean, it's a good question. But yes, historically, we've committed to Taiwan. So I would,
Well, I think a lot of people are upset because they believed that Donald Trump was he ran on, they wanted to end wars, not start them. And then, of course, I'm just going to give the age-old pageant answer. I just want world peace.
Yeah.
World peace.
Yeah. I've actually been watching the last few days those YouTubes about. I'm not looking at the left because the left, of course, anything he does, they're going to be like, we hate him, whatever. Even though they can't differentiate between good things and bad things. But the war between the right now is what you're talking about because they believe like, hey, he told us he's the peacemaker and we're not going back to the Middle East. Well, 13 months in office, we're back with a vengeance, and there's, I think, a lot of that's why you see Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, I was really surprised about, but he got out there strong.
I'm not surprised at all.
You follow him more than I do.
Yeah.
There's several other MAGA influence. I think Steve Bannon has said something. I'm not exactly sure what it was. There's been several of them that are just like, wait a second. And if you look at the polling on this, I know you hate that word, but overwhelmingly, I know you hate it. Overwhelmingly, the whole country is against it. So the polling numbers are terrible on it too, so far. Now that could change because if you have a regime change and things go well, then he's going to be President Trump's going to be very popular because of it. But at this point, it's not looking very good in terms of the political effects on the Republican Party, which were already kind of heading downwards to November. Now it's even got significantly worse.
One thing I love that Marjorie Taylor Greene said, and then we got to take our last break, but she said we should send Laura Loomer over there because she's so for it. Let's just send her. She's able. She's capable.
She's like 33. She can go fight.
I'm okay with that. We can send Laura Loomer.
Well, I think that's a good thing because that's one thing I always notice about people when they're talking about war. So pro-war, and 90% of the people have never signed up to serve, and I hate that when I see that. I'm just like, okay, guys, if you want everybody to go fight, got to sign your name on the dotted line. That's right. Just but that's a personal problem.
Our last break. Y'all stay with us. We'll be right back here to wrap things up on this Tuesday here on the Lindsay Beckham Show, WIAB 103.9. We will be right back. WIAB 103.9. We will be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Have you thought about the cost of long-term care? In Mississippi, a home health aide can cost over $57,000 a year, and a private nursing home room can exceed $109,000 annually. Hi, my name is Cressley Pierce at Pierce Professional Agency. Long-term care insurance may help protect your savings and give you more options and peace of mind as you age. Learn how planning ahead could save you money and stress. Find me, Cressley Pierce, online today at MadisonPlans.com. That's MadisonPlans.com.
Have you been injured through no fault of your own? Do you know your rights? Don Evans does. Do you really believe that the insurance company would disclose all information to you? Don Evans will make sure that you are fully informed. It costs nothing to discuss your case. From car wrecks to malpractice, Don Evans will make you and your family whole again. Don Evans won't ever charge unless he collects for you. Call Don for a free, no obligation consultation at 601-969-2006.
Hey, this is Ben Ingram from the Braves Radio Network. We're in commercial right now, so I want to let my sister take over and tell you about Hometown Property Group.
Thanks, Ben. This is Mary Claire Putman with Hometown Property Group. Whether you're buying or selling, we are committed to guiding you through your real estate transaction with integrity, exceptional service, and remarkable results. Madison County has been my home for 40 years. I'd love to help make it yours too.
That's Hometown Property Group. Give them a call at 601-853-6080.
Huddle up, wing lovers, and double your count for less on Wing Tuesdays at Buffalo Wild Wings. When you buy one order of traditional wings, get one for 50% off. No time to dine? Order for delivery and wing it up with a crew at home. Or pick up takeout when you're on the go. Limit one per order, not valid with any other offers. Additional terms and conditions apply. Huddle up for Wing Tuesday at Buffalo Wild Wings.
The new year is off to a fast start, but you can't keep up if your vehicle is sidelined. Get to Mazda of Jackson and take advantage of these super deals before time runs out. Get 1.9% financing for 63 months on all 2025 Mazda CX-5s and 2026 CX-90s, CX-50s, and Mazda 3s with approved credit, and get 1 year maintenance included in your new vehicle purchase. Don't wait another minute to experience Mazda's exhilarating performance, top-notch safety, and reliability online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit I-55 Frontage Road.
Homeowners and business owners, are your gutters and roof storm ready? The folks at Elite Roofing and Gutters are your local experts in storm protection. The team is dedicated to fortifying your residential or commercial location against the elements. Now is the time for an inspection and for proactive solutions that ensure your roof and gutters can withstand any storm. Elite Roofing and Gutters, online at eliteroofer.com. eliteroofer.com.
Vans Comics, Cards, and Games is your local sports cards and memorabilia store, plus Pokemon, board games, comics, and more. Get in the game, make history, and own it at Vans Comics, Cards, and Games, Pear Orchard Road in Ridgeland, and at vansccg.com. Better ingredients, better pizza with a better website. Papa John's and papajohns.com team up for the best experience. Save more with Papa Rewards and all the best deals. Order today and enjoy the new specials and Papa's pairings at papajohns.com and at locations throughout the metro.
Since 2012, Brentech Solutions has been keeping Central Mississippi businesses connected and protected. From secure data backup and cloud services with Synology to reliable network design and maintenance, servers, and business Wi-Fi, Brentech truly does it all. Brentech is your Ring Pro partner and smart home automation solutions provider. Brentech can handle Microsoft 365 support and even Starlink. Visit brentech.ms. That's brentech.ms. IT solutions that work.
We are back for the last few seconds, like 20 seconds. Thank you, Sean, for coming on and joining us to talk about the stuff that you know way more about than me.
Sure.
Tell people again where they can find you.
Get onetextlaw.com, 601-862-1320. We love to help you out if you F around and don't want to find out, as Clay would say, I guess.
Absolutely. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. See you then. Bye.